I've realized recently that carbs are a gateway drug that leads to other addictions that I've tried to quit. And I've realized this because I've been on the carnivore diet for almost a week now, and that means no carbs. I've just been consuming meat and eggs and cheese and a little bit of dairy, but mainly just lots of meat with lots of fat. And there are no carbs. And I've actually felt the strong addiction towards carbs. When I look back to other long semen retention streaks, usually before I relapsed, I would crave sugar a lot. And I love sugar, like who doesn't? So I would eat this special sort of cake. It would always pop into my mind. It's called I don't know what you call it in other languages, but in Danish it's called citronmåne, and it's this very, very toxic chemically made. It's called Dan cake, and it's just very bad quality. If you put that cake on the shelf, which they probably are, they could be there for years and you could still eat it. It's just all pure chemicals and lots of sugar and some flour. But this cake has some sort of meaning to me because it's always what I crave at some points, like in some period in my life. And I can eat an entire cake of that by myself easily. So I would crave that, and then I would crave chocolate and sweets and ice cream and, chips and all that. And all this, it's simply carbs. And when I had eaten a lot of all this good stuff, I would, my brain would have fired up and the dopamine flow was going. But that would lead me to the next relapse. So even though I had quit caffeine and alcohol, there would still be this gateway from the sugar that would fire up my dopamine receptors, and they would ask for more. And then the urges to watch porn or to masturbate would come up, or to lust for women or start looking at women and fantasizing. But when you have an addiction, it's only when you try to stop the addiction that you realize that you are addicted. And going through this time of not eating any carbs, I can tell, I'm not really craving it right now because I think I'm sort of flatlining from carbs. And don't get me wrong, I think carbs are very, very useful. They can really empower a workout or any physical activity. They will stimulate. And that's very obvious right now because I'm not being charged up by carbs. And I felt it in training today in jiu-jitsu class. It's not firing the right way. But I'm still going to keep trying out this carnivore diet because I'm also on the iodine drops, and they are doing some serious work. If you have an iodine deficiency, most likely you have a lot of toxins in your body, and that's what I've been feeling. So when you finally get iodine in your body again, it starts to clear out all the toxins. And I've had oxalate crystals coming out of my face. It wasn't cysts or normal, weird, disgusting stuff. This was hard rocks, crystal looking there was shining crystal, and they were sort of heavy, and I would just drop it, and it would make this rocky sound on the table. And I've never tried that before. And I've upped the dose of iodine because I can tell it's working. But yeah, I'm going through it right now. There's things happening. I'm building the semen retention streak. I'm also adapting to carnivore. But there are so many signs that leads me in the right direction. Like, my sleep is much deeper. When I wake up, I'm just fully rested these past few days. And I've had some very, very nice and deep dreams. And I just feel calm throughout the day, even though I'm still adapting. And I have no pain in the body. Like, I can feel when I'm sore, but there's no pain, there's no like, it just feels like normal. There's no inflammation. It's very easy to tell for me. But yeah, since I've been on carbs my entire life, it takes some time to adapt. That's just how it is. And especially when your brain wants the simple carbs, not the better carbs, which are, I suppose, rice and potatoes. Yeah, but I wrote something down. Yeah, so basically when you cut out the carbs, that is one less trigger to give you urges. And, if you go through the forums of semen retention, no fab, of pure retention, you have many different ways of going about it. And I guess you can tell, like, my brain is just tired. It's been a long day, but it's been a very nice day. What was I even trying to say? Yeah, so when you cut out carbs, it's one less thing. But I will be going back on carbs. I just used the carnivore diet for this therapeutic protocol to try and heal whatever's been going on inside me. And it's doing some work right now. I'm looking forward to having some fruit and maybe some other stuff. Man, I'm all over the place right now. Yeah. So, I guess, okay, if you've been watching this far, it would be nice to see if like my thoughts get more clear throughout the days. Because right now, it's not very, it could be something with the semen retention, but it's definitely something with the carnivore adaptation that I'm not getting the carbs, which is not firing up my brain. And then I have a hard time, like, staying on track. And that's just what's happening right now. Gotta be honest about it. And if I find in a few weeks that this isn't changing, then of course I'll add in more carbs. Of course, like, I'm not going to make the same mistakes I made in the past where I just try to will different diets or different ways of living, because if it isn't working, like, if there are no improvements and you just have this plateau of, you have the same aches and symptoms, then it's time to move on. Yeah. Well, what I was trying to say is that when you go through the different forums, many people, they are vegetarians or vegans, and they tell you to stay away from meat and from garlic and onions and chili, and like, but especially meat because it will make you virile. Like virility is a bad thing. So they're telling you not to eat meat so that your entire system will become weaker or more like neutral, so that you won't feel the sexual urges. So it's basically asking you to kill or like numb down a very important part of you. And that way you won't relapse. Like, that's just a misunderstanding. Because you want to get stronger. You want to get more healthy. You want your virility. That's what you want. And then you want to be able to control it and like transmute it into something better. It's not about like numbing your system and like making it worse so that you can achieve a higher streak. No, it's about becoming powerful in all the areas of life. And even though it doesn't seem like it right now, because I stumble on my words and I have a hard time staying on track, that's just because I'm going through something. My body is adapting. I'm building up the streak. I made my mistakes. And I fried my brain a little by relapsing. Like watching a few hours of porn. That will do the trick. That will do the trick. So of course, I wish I would just be the 135-day streak Emil right now, but I'm not. And I'm trying to make some changes. Because even when I was on the 135 streaks and like the energy and the power and the clarity was amazing, I still felt the underlying issues and symptoms I've been dealing with for a long time. And I've tried keto and carnivore in the past for like a few weeks, but I never took it to at least a month to see what happened. And even though I started feeling a lot better, which I am now, I feel the symptoms clearing up day by day. It's quite amazing. But my carb addiction got the better of me, and once I opened up the floodgates of carbs, it was game over. I was eating everything, lots of sugar. And this time around, I'm trying to like go even deeper to the non-carb streak. And again, I don't think carbs are wrong. I don't have anything against vegans or vegetarians. But like what you mainly eat on a vegan or vegetarian diet, it's carbs. I know there are some keto vegans or vegetarians, I think, but like this just makes sense in so many ways. But right now you won't believe me because I'm tired and, going through something, but man, this authenticity and honesty. It is what it is, man. What can I say? I'm going to try different stuff and I'm going to report back to you guys. And, but I truly believe like this is going to be a game changer. So, yes, I'll see you in the next update. Bye.